Welcome back to Cryptogains for another video. I want to show you what I see in the Bitcoin price chart. Maybe talk about the altcoins. I know I'll be bringing a few videos. Get my words out. But I want to show you what I see. If it sounded interesting, drop the like, give me a subscribe. Not financial advice, more of a guide to show you where I think we could be in the market, how much time we have left and things like that. Yeah, let's take a look at this. I've got 3 moving averages up, very popular averages. I've got the 21 EMA average, which is the exponential moving average. I've got the 50 EMA, and I've got the 150 EMA, right? Some people can use the 200. You can flip this to the 200 if you like. I'm just using it on as 150, right? And what I'm looking for with these 3, actually, I'll tell you what, I'll flip this to the 200. Sometimes I like to use the 150, but I'll flip it to the 200. What I like about the averages is they're just really simple. The moving averages are simple to look at, simple to understand, simple to know where you are with the price. So we're using this for Bitcoin. Let's just go back to the last prior cycle. I'm going to delete these indicators and stuff just so you can get a clean picture of what I'm looking at here. What do we know to be true? We know that in a massive rally up, you can see back in 2013, in a massive rally up, price always remains in front of this green line. And again, on the weekly time frame, right? 1 week time frame. Price always remains in front of this green line when we're in a massive rally, a bull cycle. When we've topped out of the bull cycle and prices start to fall, we see it pierce this green line. Then it comes down to this orangey line, and then eventually it pierces this orange line, and then it comes down to the red line and pierces through, right? So that's what we know to be true. Essentially, what we have is a trend reversal, which means that once we break this green line, usually it's hard for the price to remain back above it, and it just holds it as resistance. It gets resisted for a period of a year or 2 or however long. And then what happens after the bear market, once you've seen prices bottom out, is it tends to break this green line again, and it eventually breaks through the red line, through the orange line, then it tends to hold this green line as support. You can see it, right? Bounces off it. Even if the price of Bitcoin falls 30 to 40%, it still would hold this green line as a relative support. That's down 35%. And we saw these massive drops many a times, massive crashes like that, many a times in the cycle. It even pierced through at this point. Look, it went down to 40%, pierced through. It kissed the orange line. Get my words out. Kissed the orange line, came back above, and then the bodied candles, the bodies of them stayed above this green line so we could continue to rally. So what are we looking for then? Because some people are really, unsure on the market. What's going to happen? Where are we next? What's going to happen? We want to basically look to see if we start to see candles pierce this green line and remain below it, or even worse, pierce through this orange line to give us a signal that the market is weak. We already missed the top. Market's weak. It's pierced through this orange line. It's likely that, there's a certain amount of candles. It's likely that we may eventually come down to this red line. Because if you're not seeing the pierce of the green line and you're not seeing the pierce of the orange line, that's not really a sign to say that we're seeing resistance. Look, because when you break down after the parabolic top, we try to break above again and we can't. Look, we come above. Next minute it's falling back down again. We come above, falling back down again. Try to break above, falling back down again. To eventually we just see a massive capitulative event. Let me change that to yellow. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the resistance. If we are done, if the market's finished and it's completely over, I need to see a sign, and this is going to show me my sign if we are done, right? So look, this is 2021 cycle. So like I said to you, we're in the bottom of the market. We bottomed out. As prices break above the green line here, we see it go right above. It finally breaks above the orange line, and then we can see here some short rally. But this happened too fast, which means the market had to cool off, because it happened too fast. And then obviously we had the Black Swan event, which was the C19, which gave us a massive capitulative drop, which might I remind you, what was it, $2 billion? Got wiped out here. At the time, that was the biggest liquidation event we had ever seen. $2 billion. Because more recently, we saw a $10 billion wipeout. And just to put this into perspective, when we saw this massive wipeout, this was the bottom of that wipeout, and it only went upwards from there. We didn't see prices go lower. And at this time, when the C19 crash happened, everybody was bearish. The market's dead. everything's dead, everything's going to zero, it's rubbish, I've lost all my money. Everybody was like that. And I got to keep it real. Right now, I'm getting that same sentiment vibes. Everybody's saying that now because of the last massive crash and because you're not seeing prices go up right away. I just got to keep it real. I'm showing you what I feel as I see prices and see things happen. But look what happened. It came back, it V-shaped recovered, and then it came back above the red, back above the orange, and then it held support above this green line so it could take off. Remember what I said? When we're in a bull cycle, we always see it bounce off of this green line. So let's take a look at where we are today, because today we are here. So we look at, again, we saw the massive top of 2022. We came down, we couldn't break above this green line. That was it. That was our resistance. Tried to break above. Oh, let me make it more. Do it again. Make it more new. So we broke down, tried to break above, rejected. Tried to break above, rejected. Every time we tried to come up to this green line, we got rejected. It was only when we finally did break it, that's when we started to see we call it a trend reversal, a retrace, right? And then Bitcoin finally had you can call Bitcoin's bull rally beginning when it makes a new all-time high. But all of this segment here was a retrace, right? A retrace. So we broke above this green line, and then we held it as support, broke above the orange and the red, held it as support, and then we started to bounce. We saw one moment where we came down on the green line and held support on the orange. Now this is okay. This could have been a sign of, had we have broken this orange line coming down to the red, that would have been a devastating sign saying, this is it, the market's done. But we didn't. We held support on this orange line, came back above. But this could have been a sign to take some, I took profits here. If you was watching my channel, I took profits here. And you can go back on, March, yeah. And you can go back on my channel and I helped you understand why. Because at that time, I was watching the RSIs, the Relative Strength Index. Everything was just extremely overbought at this time. So I took decent profits. It did fall down to here. I bought again. I bought some more, bought loads more, and then I rode this wave again. That's how you trade smartly, by looking on a larger time frame, which is a weekly time frame. But that's what I did, and you can see the videos. It's all there, plain and clear to see. This is where I was selling. Because I knew that it was just overbought and it had to cool off. And this is what's going to happen with the market, is we will tend to cool off sometimes. Maybe it's good to watch the fear and greed. I'll bring another video on it, relatively in the next day or two to talk about the sentiment. But look, same thing again. We break above this green line. We hold support, bounce off the green line. We've got a little bit of support here on the orange line, but we're still relatively good. If you look at it, yeah, we had $10 billion get wiped out. Market sentiment is disgusting right now. Everyone's shook. Everyone's scared. No one knows what to do. You have other influencers that don't know how to make decent content, so they just say silly things about other influencers. Whilst you have decent influencers, I'd like to call myself a decent influencer, someone that's trying to share relative information to help people, guide them on their journey. You don't have to believe what influencers say and do. You're welcome to travel this cryptoverse by yourself to try and figure out what to do. But sometimes influencers can help. And you can take this with you on your journey. Does this look like we are about to crash into the massive pits and see a massive dump? Does it look like this, where we've had a massive capitulative drop, because that was a disgusting drop from here right down to here? That was your top of the cycle, and you can tell it was because when it came back above, it got rejected. It couldn't break above this green line again, and it got dumped, and then it came back above. It couldn't break above and hold candles above. It dumped down again. Does it look like that's where we are? Because I don't think it does. Now, we could still see markets move and fall. Like, for example, Bitcoin could fall down to this green line, which is about $89,000. It could pierce through. It could come right down to this orange line like what we saw here. Now, if we saw this massive dump happen right down to this orange line, it would be devastating for people. People would just get fed up and be like, this market's done. It's over. I'm done. That's it. The market's done. I've lost all my money. Most people will sell at a loss because they will be scared to lose any more money. And that's just the way the market moves. It's like you shake out the weak hands so people can buy things cheaper. The smart money can buy things cheaper. If this happened, Bitcoin would fall to almost $76,000, and the whole market would think that we are done. But I won't think we would be. If we fell down to here, it's possible we could hold it as support like we did here, and then prices could move back up. So just keep that in mind, right? Keep this right here in mind. Because when I look at things like the fear and greed index, we're now in fear. Smart money likes to buy when we're in extreme fear. Look at this. Last month we was in extreme greed, right? I wasn't going to show this, but I'll just show it. Smart money was taking profits in extreme greed. I think smart money is trying to bump this down. I think they're really trying to bump this down. That 10 billion liquidation event was disgusting, but I think smart money knows where this is going. They know that this is about to go crazy, have a massive parabolic phase. So how can they capitalize on it? Well, what if we could buy Bitcoin at $75,000 instead of $80,000, $90,000, $96,000? Okay, well, how can we get it down to $75,000? We need to scare people. We need to make people think the market's done. So this could be an event. I'm not saying it's going to happen. We have I think two things could happen. I think we could see another fall down to here, which is a 6% drop, which is 90,000. We could pierce through and come as low as 76,000, but this might get bought up really quick. If we saw a dump like this, it's likely it could come back up and we could see a big wick come back up with buy power. Now you're thinking, well, why does he think this? Why does he think something like this could happen? I'm going to make this a red candle. Hold on. You're thinking, why does he think something like this could happen? Because it looks similar to what happened in the past in just after C19. Think about it. C19, we saw a massive capitulative event. We just recently saw a capitulative event. But when you look at the charts of this last, C19, right here, look at this. Massive capitulative event. We start to V-shape recovery back up. And take a look at this segment right here. Just right here. Something like this is what could happen before we then take off and go skyrocketing. So yeah, we see prices come up and then we see another massive drop down. Something like that. Just that shape where it comes up, comes across, falls down is what I'm thinking could happen. Just to really shake the market one more time before we just go crazy. And if it did do that today with the charts that we're seeing now, it would look something like this. We've just seen prices come up and then fall back down. Just slam the market one last time, get everyone shook. And at that point, I'm not selling nothing at all. I'm just holding. And if that comes, I'll be looking for the most insane buy opportunity. But right now, it hasn't printed. It hasn't come out. And if you look at this on perspective to the ribbons, let me find it. I've got the ribbons up. Here we go. These are the ribbons. What would it look like with this? Because if you look at these ribbons, we're healthy again. I should bring another video on this. We're healthy. Meaning that Bitcoin's still in a bullish trend, where the ribbons haven't tangled. We ain't seeing no tangle of the ribbons like this to say, the market's down, it's over low. Because when you see this yellow line tangle with all these reds and the yellow comes underneath, that's it. Resistance, bear market, absolute disgusting drops to come in the future. We ain't seeing that yet. We're still seeing that the ribbons are looking good. There's no massive tangles. So what would it look like if it happened over here? It would look like something like this. Bitcoin just dumps down like this. I'll make it red. And then it might get bought up as a wick. So, it comes straight down here to about 86,000. And then it gets bought up. And it just looks like we went deep into these ribbons with a red dump candle and came back up. Matter of fact, it might look just like that. With a tiny bit of red there. I think they call that a dragonfly doji. But we will see what happens. I'm just trying to present a situation of what I think could happen because the market has been in extreme greed, and I still think people are not fearful enough. Yeah, like I said, smart money wants to buy when it's extreme fear. We will see. That's my worst case scenario, and that will be short lived. Best case scenario is I still think we're going to have a massive altcoin rally in the next few months. The next few months will be very nice for people, but I think that a shakeout could be possible. We could come down to this orange line and people just wouldn't expect it. And when it does happen, massive turnaround. Like I said, we see that massive fall down, and eventually we go crazy high, just like what we saw with what do you call it? That thing I just showed you. When we start to go back up, it looks like it. It looks like it could do something like that. When you put that alongside, where is it? The other one. Let me find it. That alongside this one here? No, I can't find it. I've lost it now. I think it was here on the ribbons in the C19. wherever it is, I can't find it. You know what I mean? You saw it. I just think it could happen as a worst case scenario. But this is what my bullish end goal is that Bitcoin will come up and surge again, and then the money, the greed, the smart people will take the money off of the weak hands, and then we'll see an insane rally. So that was that. I'm going to leave this here. I want to bring some more videos to show you my perspective on the market, talk about the sentiment. I think sentiment is important right now because people are unsure, and sometimes videos like this can help you on your journey. If it was helpful, drop the like, give me a subscribe. My ones are being mad. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. See you in the next video. Cheers.